Hey y'all, welcome back to Triple H Farms here in Middle Tennessee. I'm Kyle MacArthur, I'm a sheep farmer, and I want to introduce you to some of the hardest working farm hands on the place, and those are my farm dogs. These aren't just pets we keep outside. They have dirt under their nails and a deep instinct in their hearts to do the job they do here. And if you're interested in farm work and seeing some working dogs do what they do best, stick around, we're going to get into it. So out here in Middle Tennessee, predators are ubiquitous, really. They're everywhere. Coyotes especially, foxes though, bobcats, vultures, a few bears, even cougars. Most often though, even neighbors' dogs are a daily concern, and we've lost animals to predators before. If you've ever gone through that, you know the sting of it. It's why we chose to hire some of very specifically bred farm dogs to help us prevent those losses. They're not just companion dogs that bebop around our farm. They're not just large dogs that we happen to have living outside, but they're livestock guardian dogs, folks, bred for a millennia to serve as shepherds in their own right. Dedicated, loyal sheep dogs with genetically infused instincts and ancient memories that drive them to bond with, live with, and protect our flocks. They're our second and third shift employees and our alarm systems, our peace of mind, and help us sleep at night for sure. When we first moved to this area, coyotes were a constant threat. They were everywhere. I mean, all over the property, right outside our window. Obviously, we were very concerned about our house pets. We got poultry pretty quick after we got here, and we had very little to no fence. I'm coming, guys. But before we got sheep on the property, oh, almost touched that. Focus, Kyle, focus. All right, guys. You just can't stay out of these water pails, can you, bud? So before we got sheep on the place, we wanted to have a way to keep them safe from the predators. There's a lot more than coyotes. Coyotes were the most evident predators in the area, but there was just a lot of indication of predators being in the area. So I didn't want to bring sheep here and them to be vulnerable to predators. And so considering the different options and the animals that we were already very comfortable with, guardian dogs seemed like a pretty natural fit. And so when I brought sheep onto Triple H Farms, I brought a guardian dog with them. I forget the exact mix, but it was from a working farm, most importantly, where they already were guarding livestock and living outside. That's who we call the OG guardian dog. But as the guardian, as the ultimate guardian, right, as the shepherd, I just felt ultimately responsible to have multi-layered defense from the wild predators in the area. The primary line of defense is the fence line, and it's electrified, not just to keep the livestock in, but also to keep the predators out.
It's not a significant physical barrier, but it's certainly a serious mental barrier. You can see our guardians are more than capable of jumping over that small fence, but they've been out here since they were puppies, every single one of them. And that fence hurt them when they were puppies, I have no doubt. But that was intentional, because now, even though they're more than physically capable of jumping over it, they don't, because they learned those hard lessons when they were young. Unfortunately, even with the fence, even with the guardians, we've had attacks. We haven't lost livestock to that attack, but they ultimately succumbed to their injuries. And so the system worked. So we ended up with multiple guardian dogs on the property. We run 2 per paddock. So if we have a paddock here, this paddock here, it has goats in it at the moment. They're working on that tree line for me. And we'll keep a couple of guardian dogs with them. Rip gets along really well with Elsa. Elsa was our number 2 guardian dog on Triple H Farms. She came here also as a puppy when Rip kind of had the game figured out. We introduced Elsa, and not only did she figure out kind of the routines and how to interact with us and the livestock as a puppy, but Rip undoubtedly showed her some of the ropes. And they've just always had a special bond since then. And whenever we separate them, you can tell they're just not as happy as they are when they're together. We usually have an automatic dog feeder, meaning they can access the food free choice whenever they want it. But these goats are a little too savvy for an automatic dog feeder, and they can get in there. The sheep don't seem to figure it out as quickly, or haven't figured it out. Lambs have figured it out a couple times, but sheep don't. The grown sheep can't do it. But these goats, we hadn't had much luck keeping goats out of a dog feeder, and so I just have to feed them. Good girl. Good girl, Elsa. Man, the flies are getting bad, aren't they? Not gonna hurt you, bud. Hey, guys. All right. That is Bo. And that's one of his sons, Solomon, the brown guy, is just over a year old, and Bo's pushing up on 3.
So training starts early with these guys. Socializing the pups to our farm sounds simple, but until you realize that includes all the normal things you'd socialize a dog to, but also to include sheep and chickens and tractors and feeders and leashes, trucks, crates, golf cart, etc. You just want them used to everything they're going to experience on the farm, so nothing startles them, so they can focus on their job. We raise them like we raise kids, but outside 24/7. We're firm with them, fair with them, of course a little forgiving when they're younger. We want them comfortable around us, and we want to be comfortable around them, so we handle them also. That might surprise you, or some of you. We believe they need to accept touch and maintenance and grooming and medications occasionally. We've had some issues, some run-ins with wildlife, and some run-ins LGD on LGD where there was some injuries sustained and we had to treat those. So we give them a pat on the head, occasional belly rub. We put our hands all over them so we can tell if they have parasites or mats or any other necessities, any other care needed. We also put them in the truck or in a trailer or in a crate occasionally. So those experiences are not going to change their thousands of years of instincts or their ability to bond with their flock, where they literally spend the other 23 and a half hours a day, every day, all year round. That couple minutes they spend with you isn't going to change those instincts or desires. They know their job. They know where they want to be. The few hours we've gotten them out of that, and it hasn't been often, they've never ran to our house. They've ran around the farm, or they never ran back to our house. They don't know what that house is. They just start exploring for food and threats and go about their way. Each dog has a unique role in their genetics and lineage. Kind of highlights that. Some like to scout perimeters more and get out and move around. Some, when they are rather just happy to be content sticking around the sheep. We're not trying to breed super dogs here. For us, it's just about building a team that complements each other and complements our management style. Like any good team, it takes time, trust, and it does take some training. So if you're not experienced with that or familiar with that, you should do some reading, some research, talk to some farmers who use these dogs in their operations. It's also not complicated.
So why are we talking about farm dogs? You can watch 100 other videos that are probably better produced and more informative about guardian dogs and where they come from and all the little details you can nerd out about. I certainly have. I've watched plenty of them. Some of them are very good. Some of them are very entertaining, not so good mostly, and they're worth watching to see what their anecdotal experience has been like. I learned from most of them. I would encourage you to check those out. That's not my intent today. My intent today is to talk about farm dogs from a sense that it's one of my 5 strategies to take my homestead sheep operation to the next level, to a profitable enterprise. I've been utilizing farm dogs for quite a while, several years, but I'm going to do that more efficiently. I'm also going to incorporate herding dogs into my operation as my numbers grow, and I'm working on that now in anticipation of those numbers growing. So instead of hiring labor, which is very expensive, I'm going to utilize my farm dogs. And while they're not free to utilize, of course, I can manage those expenses a little better, I think. And that's what I've incorporated into my business plan. People have been using them for thousands of years. And so it's not just an ancient thing that's been done by shepherds for many, many years, but they've done that for that long, maybe because it works. I'm a believer. I'm incorporating farm dogs into my business plan. Speaking of business plans, if you want a free business plan worksheet, specifically to make your farm more profitable or to maybe to take your farm to a business level where you can make some money doing it, check out the worksheet. It's free down in the description below. It's you can work through that worksheet. It'll make you kind of thoughtful about all the different parts that go into a business plan. And it'll ultimately take you to a university website where they walk you through how to make a farm business plan. But that worksheet will help you, as a thought exercise, work through all the stuff in your head about how to generate a business plan for your farm. It's free. Check it out. I think you'll find it useful. The folks that have checked it out so far have told me how useful it was to them. It doesn't cost you anything. Let's talk more farm dogs. All right, everything's good here. Let's get this bad boy to where the guardians are. We're gonna move our 2 Karakachan, father and son combo. Karakachans are an ancient Bulgarian breed that used to run the mountains in Bulgaria, guarding sheep and other livestock for the shepherds there. And there's lots of information out there, so I don't need to get into all the nitty-gritty details of Karakachans, but suffice it to say, they're known for being a little less roamy, a little less, they don't want to constantly escape, which I found to be true. They're not constant nuisance barkers, which I've also found to be true. They do their share of barking. They are guardian dogs. And so they let the local coyote population know they're here for sure. But they're not just barking all night just to bark. That's not their chief defense mechanism. They're kind of known for fighting wolves and fighting to the death and ferocious when they turn it on. But for the most part, they're rather friendly. They like a pat on the head. Very calm natured, easy to get along with. Not incredibly easy to handle and groom because we haven't done a whole lot of that. But they're agreeable to it if you insist. We originally went with an Anatolian mix, which is Rip. He was named after a character on Yellowstone. I figured if that guy takes problems to the train station, then that's kind of Rip's job around here, is to take out problems. But he's been really kind of our OG guardian dog. Just never had an issue. He's lived every day since he was a puppy out on pasture. Once they're weaned, we put them on pasture with livestock, and we found that to work great. Lots of folks talk about training guardians, which I assume that's kind of part of OJT is what I would call their training. They're learning as they go. Very little do I have to correct necessarily. They just kind of learn the routines. And let's rip you here. Yep, no. They learn their routines and they kind of get used to the routine, moving and the gates and the fences. They learn about the fences within a couple days of arrival. And they respect these fences. I kind of understand why sheep respect the fences, but it surprises me that these massive, large-toothed guardians, these very intimidating, strong beasts, would respect this little fence. They can easily hop over it, but they don't. I've never had a guardian jump over this electric fence because they respect it, and it doesn't have a lot of shock, to be honest, so it doesn't take long because they've learned it since they were puppies, and it hurt when they were puppies. And they've never challenged it since. Now they know where it opens. They get smart to that during rotations, and they're happy to dart around it, dart under it. If you present an opening, they will take advantage of it and bolt. They just don't bolt far.
As we move these LGDs to a new pasture, let's talk numbers. Obviously, I'm working again to take the sheep operation into the black, right, and build a sustainable, profitable enterprise. So what we really need to assess is how the guardian dogs factor into that bottom line. Now, if you're an Excel wizard out there, just temper your expectations. I do have a detailed budget, but here I've just pulled out the highlights to show you how I account for our guardian expenses. So not all of our dogs cost $1,000, so take it easy. But for easy math, let's roll with that. And spread over a 10-year working life, that's about $100 per year per dog, just to buy them. So that's what you'll see there in the budget, is we've amortized their purchase price. Our annual feed and care bill, it's around $800 total. That includes kibble that we buy. You can see that what we utilize most often there from our local feed store. It's a good high protein for active dogs. And they go through about 20 50-pound bags per dog per year. Not quite 2 bags a month, but close. And we give them occasional treat from our farm's raw meat surplus, which I didn't factor in here, since those are just treats occasionally, but they do get that pretty consistently. We also have an annual vet visit to the farm, and of course we keep up with parasite control, and that's roughly a couple $100 per dog. So altogether, each LGD cost us about $900 a year to have on our farm. And for a full-time farmhand with no sick days or holidays, I'd say that's already a bargain when you think about it. Multiply that by 4 dogs, and we're looking at $3,600 per year. $3,600 to have our 4 guardians out on our farm. Seems like a lot when you read it that way, but still not bad. We have 24/7 coverage, folks. No holidays, no overtime pay. I have 4 highly trained guardians on the job all year round that bring with them a very qualified list of credentials and just ancient instincts that we get to incorporate into our farm, into protecting our sheep. So that's pretty cool. $3,600 is a lot of money. So what we really need to do is understand how those costs break down per sheep. And I think you'll see it becomes much more manageable that way, as most of your expenses are on your farm. If you have a livestock operation, they should be attributed per head across your herd or flock. So if these 4 guardians are protecting 50 sheep, if you look at this spreadsheet, I added it per sheep. So I added the numbers of my sheep in there. If these 4 guardians are protecting 50 sheep, which we expect to have around here by early summer, that's about $72 per ewe or lamb per year. A little more manageable. Or really, if you looked at it per month, it's just $6 a month for around-the-clock protection. Each sheep cost me $6 a month to have for a 50 sheep flock. By next summer, if we double the flock to 100, which we expect, and still run the same for dogs, which we also expect, our protection costs drop to just $3 per sheep per month. So those are the carrying costs for the lamb still on the farm. So when we talk about those carrying costs, our LGD paychecks need to be part of that calculation. They're keeping them safe out there. So is 4 guardian dogs the right number for us? It might be more than strictly necessary, but we don't like running with just one dog in a paddock. There's a real benefit in having a pair. And since we often split the flock into 2 pastures, the flexibility of our 4 dogs makes management easier for us. Can we eventually manage with 2? Maybe, with some changes. But doing it the way we're doing it now helps us be more intentional and clear-eyed about our choices, and breaking down this budget helps in those efforts too. So of course, worth saying though, before we close this topic out, it's not everything fits so nicely on a spreadsheet, right? We also enjoy these dogs. My family enjoys these dogs. We enjoy having them on our farm. So we get value out of having them here that we really can't throw on a spreadsheet. We respect their instincts, their loyalty, and just their silent, professional watch over our flock when we're not around. So yes, this is about dollars and cents, but it's not all just about dollars and cents either.
Speaking of things that are harder to quantify, we've also been bringing on a couple of herding dogs, steadily training them to be able to assist us on the farm as well. An Australian Kelpie and a Border Collie.
There you go. Lie down. Good boy. We almost had him there, buddy. I think we rushed it a little bit. Let's see if we can push him a little bit. Let's take it easy on them now. They're all mamas. Big fat mamas. Let's try it again. Easy. Hey! Good. Away. Good. Away. Lie down. Lie down. Good boy, Kip. Good boy, Kip. Away. Away. Lie down. Good boy, Kip. Lie down. You upset her, buddy. Lie down. Good boy. All right. Lie down. Lie down. Easy. Lie down. Good boy, Kip. You're doing good. All right. Walk up. Walk up with me. Lie down. Lie down. All right. They're right at the gate now. Let's get them through the gate. Don't make any quick movements. Walk up. Walk up. Walk up. Woohoo! Good job, buddy. Hey, good boy. Good boy. You did so good. Lie down. Good boy, Kip. Good. Hey, lie down. You did your job. Good boy. All right. Now the girls are in the lambing pasture. The lambing pasture is a little closer to the house. We can keep a little closer eye on them, a little closer to resources, a little closer to the barn where we have pens if we have trouble. And just so we can keep a little better eye on them every morning, every evening, so they're lambing all day long. If we need to, get up in the middle of the night even. We just like to have them a little closer to home. They're not right on top of us, but they're within about 50 yards of the back door, so that's where we put them come lambing time. Did a good job, Kipper. Should be proud of yourself. Put that little camera on them this time. We'll see what the footage looks like. I'm hoping it's some excitement on there. But job done. On to the next chore. I'm confident as we continue to make their life here more efficient on our farm. They're going to be a valuable contribution to taking us to the next level and keeping our livestock safe along the way. Whether it's these ancient Carcachans like Elsa here with bloodlines running back thousands of years into the mountains of Bulgaria, or our OG, old Rip here. We're going to continue to utilize these dogs to keep our livestock safe. I don't think they're extraordinarily difficult to incorporate into our operation. I think they could be a valuable contribution to your farm operation too, whether it's grazing stock, small ruminants, or otherwise. The trick is to get the right genetics from working lines, doing what you think you want to do on your farm, and getting them out bonding with their livestock. You don't have to ignore them to create that bond between their stock. They know where they live, where they reside, but they like a good pat. They like some attention, and you want to be able to pat and pay them some attention so you can do the proper maintenance to these animals and take care of them like they deserve. So look into it, and you may not need them for the first few years until the predators find you. I do have talked to several producers who didn't require guardian dogs for the first 3, 5, 7 years even. But once predators found out that was easy pickings there, things change. So they can change for you as well. You need to adapt, do your research, read a lot, watch a lot, and I think you might find that they can be a valuable contributor on your farm as well. Hopefully this has been valuable to you. If it has, give me a big thumbs up. But they're definitely some of my best employees. You might find them to be the same. Till next time. We'll see you around.